we have to realize that a pronoun is going to be something that replaces a noun. Okay, that's like number one. And it's kind of like a subject pronoun where it replaces a noun in a sentence. But just like subject pronouns, DOPs, direct object pronouns, replace the direct object in a sentence. So you can call it direct object. Sometimes it's called DON, which is the direct object noun. And you might ask me right now, what is the direct object noun in a sentence? And a direct object directly receives the action of the verb that is conjugated. So I could say a sentence like, I give the food to the dog. So, in this case, the direct object of the sentence isn't the dog, because the dog isn't receiving the action of giving. Are you giving the dog to something or someone? No. You're giving food to the dog. So the action of to give, which is the verb, is you're giving the food. You're not giving the dog. Therefore, the food is directly receiving the action of the verb, which is to give. So what I say in this context to be able to identify this easier, I ask the question, what is being blanked verb? Just put the whole thing verb. Right? In this case, right, to give is the verb. So what is being, and we can write it in a different color, given. Well, the ED didn't really work there, did it? Right? English is weird. So what is being given? All right? If that sentence said, I feed the dog, it would be what is being fed. The dog would be the direct object in that sentence, in that case. Okay? So we can write that down, right? Let's say, I feed the dog. Okay? What's the direct object here? If you said the dog and you listened earlier, then you're correct. The dog is the direct object because you have to look at the verb, right? To feed is the verb. That's the action word in the sentence. So we can ask ourselves the same question. What is being blank? Insert the verb there. The verb equals fed or to feed, right? So what is being fed? We answer that question by saying the dog. The dog is the direct object in that sentence. So now that you can identify the direct object, well, the whole point isn't to just identify the direct object, but it's to replace it with its corresponding direct object pronoun. So I'm going to give you the direct object pronouns. Direct object pronouns. Remember, we already have the definition above, right? They replace the direct object in the sentence, and we know what the direct object is because that receives the action of the verb that's conjugated. So the direct object pronouns in Spanish, there's 6 of them corresponding to the different subjects. So we have me, te, lo, la, nos, os, and las. And the translations for those is going to be me, you, the informal version. We have it, him, her, and then the formal, you, the lot, us, you all, and them, or the formal you all. Okay. So these over here, these are the pronouns. These are what you replace the nouns with. Okay. Now you can see in the bottom, these bottom four, circle them. Agree with gender and number. So if your noun, your direct object noun in the sentence is feminine singular, you're going to go right here to the la. If it's masculine singular, lo, masculine plural los, feminine plural las. Okay? Cool. So really, at this point, the only thing is we got to practice. So if we looked at this sentence, for instance, let's say examples. I don't like this color for examples. So we'll do dark green. Great. So we could say, Yaman. Let's be more specific with the subject. We're going to put ellos. Yaman a mi madre. Okay? Or mi mama. So this is the sentence. So what's the verb? If you said Yaman, you're right. Good job. Woohoo. That's the verb. So we could ask ourselves that question. What is being blanked? Okay. So you need to put the verb in the blank. If you don't know what yamar means to call. Okay. So you can think about this blank as being what is being called. Or I guess who would be a better question. And yeah, who's being called? What's receiving the action of the verb that's conjugated? If you said mi madre, you're correct. So this is the direct object noun in the sentence. Awesome. So that's half the battle, 50% of the way there. Now we have to identify the direct object pronoun to replace that noun with. So if we looked at our handy list of direct object pronouns, me, te, lo, la, nos, os, los, and las, we would probably imagine or guess that you're not your own mother, so that's not it. Or I'm not and you're not. Lower la, possibly. We are not our own mothers, that's odd. They are not all our mothers, and you don't have multiple mothers, probably. So we'll X out on that one. So, and this is singular anyway, right? So if you see that this is singular, then it has to go in here. So in the case of this, then we have to either choose lo or la, and lo is masculine, la is feminine, madre is feminine. Therefore, you're going to replace mi madre, this entire direct object noun, with la. Okay. One more rule. The direct object pronoun is placed normally not, but for our studies it will be. So direct object pronoun is placed normally before the verb that is conjugated in the sentence. Cool. So we already know where the verb is because we asked ourselves that question, what is being blanked, right? We know that the verb is yaman, so it has to be placed before the verb that's conjugated because that's conjugated, right? Doesn't have an AR at the end. It was definitely conjugated. So we replace, meaning goodbye, madre. You're being replaced with the direct object pronoun. But the direct object pronoun goes before the conjugated verb. So, la, llamaron. You don't need this preposition anymore. Okay? And that's it. So, the new sentence, if we wrote that all the way down here, would be ellos la llaman. Cool. Awesome. Let's do 3 more examples. Okay, we can write e.g. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Uno, dos, y tres. Muy bien, chicos. So we could say, let's use someone in class. Who comes to mind? Chase Benton. Tira la pelota. And then let's add something to the mix. Para su hermano. I'm curious. Chase, do you have a brother? All right, number 2. Let's give 2 more people. Harrison, because there's 2 of you. Sorry if I spelled your name wrong. Harrison Robbie. Leen muchos libros para Señor T. And then finally, let's say, who else? Let's say we could put a Sam y yo compramos las flores para su amiga. There we go. All right, so I'm going to give you a second to write these out and rewrite them. What I want you to do is I want you to rewrite the following sentences